In this video, we're going to be doing an unboxing and I'm going to give my first impressions on the Samsung Galaxy S21 Plus 5G. This phone is on sale at the time of this video. I'll have links down in the description if you want to check it out for yourself. The price is $1,000, which yes, that is expensive, but I think it's considerably cheaper than the last generation Galaxy S20, which was $1,200. So I'm very happy to see the price come down on this. We do have a couple compromises because of that lowered price, which we'll get into. But let's just go ahead and jump right in to the Galaxy S21 Plus. We have this in the Phantom Black color. So on top, we have our device. And in the box, we're not going to get a whole lot of anything because we do not have a charger this year. We do not have headphones included anymore. But on the top here, we have our SIM ejection tool. And inside this box, we have our USB Type-C to Type-C charging cable, in addition to just a little bit of paperwork, which we're just going to file to the side. Wow, I am absolutely loving this color, loving this design. It looks so clean. It looks very similar to that of the Galaxy S21 Ultra. Just really the main difference is not having that ridiculous camera module. So if you're just looking for a solid, reliable camera without all these extra features, then I think the S21 Plus is going to be a great choice, especially just with how clean this looks. It just has your standard triple lens setup in addition to the flash. And the camera bump, yeah, it's still there, but it's not really that bad, and it molds into the phone nicely. But taking a quick tour here, we have our power button and our volume rockers on the right side, and the positioning of that power button is very nice. You can see on the left side, we have nothing. On the top, we have two mics in addition to the camera square, and it kind of molds into the phone there, as you can see. And on the right side, it just kind of warps around into the phone itself, which is a very new, interesting look. And again, if you want to compare that to the S21 Ultra, it's just honestly a crazy difference here in person. And on the bottom, we have one of our two speakers. We have our Type-C charging port. We have a mic. And we have our SIM card tray, which does not include a micro SD card slot. I'm really liking just how simple this phone is here. But I think we're going to be getting still a lot of great features of that S21 Ultra at a lower price at $200 cheaper. So I'm very excited. So let's go ahead and boot up. So we have a 6.7-inch display here on the S21 Plus. Honestly, this is my favorite size of a Samsung smartphone. There's a reason why they make so many phones with this 6.7-inch display size. It's the main reason why the S20 last year was my favorite S series device. For some reason, this 6.7-inch screen size just seemed to fit me really well. It's a big phone, but it's not too big. If you're wanting to get into that big phone experience, but you don't want to have a humongous, ginormous phone, I think this is where you want to be in terms of your size and just overall weight, in terms of the fit in your hand. It's still not going to be a one-handed phone in all scenarios, but it's just a great overall screen size. So on the S21 Plus here, I'm just really liking the uniform bezels. It just has a really clean look to it. And of course, it's great to see that super tiny hole punch cutout at the top. It just makes viewing anything on your phone that much better. But I'm going to put all my information into the S21 Plus, use it for a while, and come back with some first impressions and take a deeper dive at this very exciting phone. All right, so I've been using the Galaxy S21 Plus for a little while here, and I gotta tell you guys, I'm once again really impressed here with this phone initially. Is it worth $1,000 though? Let's get into that. So first things first is getting into the phone, and I'm really glad I waited a while to come back with my initial first impressions because there was a software update that just took place and it drastically improved the fingerprint sensor built into the phone. So all you have to do is just tap the fingerprint sensor and it's just going to bring you right into the phone. It's crazy. It's just a simple tap. Boom, you're just right into your phone. That is excellent. We also have facial recognition here. We'll take a look at that now. It's definitely not as fast as the fingerprint sensor. Either way though, no issues getting into the phone. But once you're into the phone, you're greeted by the excellent 6.7-inch display here. Now, something I actually noticed is that the screen size is smaller here on the S21 Plus compared to the last generation, up with the 6.7-inch display opposed to the 6.8-inch display. And I know on paper that sounds like a major downgrade, like why would you get the newest phone of the same kind of phone that has a smaller screen? But you can see here on the sides that we have more bezel than we did on the S20 Plus, and that's because that phone had the edge display, and on here we have a flat display. So I absolutely love the flat display. There is zero chance to have any sort of accidental touches, and I certainly haven't had any in the last couple of hours of using this phone. So personally, I like the look of this flat display, but now looking at the quality of this display, this is a 1080p display. So that's different also from last year because last year's phone had a 1440p resolution. Yes, if the phones are 2 inches away from your eyes and you're looking at them back and forth, then yes, you might be able to notice the difference in the clarity between the 1440p and the 1080p. But honestly, at the end of the day, you're really not going to notice it in your general day-to-day use. I think 1080p is the bread and butter resolution that you want for a good overall experience. Now, of course, you're paying $1,000, so that's the issue with it, is that the phone costs so much. So you should have the latest and greatest display and pretty much all features from any high-end smartphone. But that is running at 120 hertz refresh rate, which that was the maximum refresh rate and resolution you could get on the previous generation anyways. Personally, I always had my phone on the 120 hertz refresh rate option. Once you go to this, it's very hard to go back to the standard 60 hertz. Literally anything you're doing, it's just buttery smooth. It's a great experience here. Let's jump into some YouTube. Just see how it is scrolling through the content. So as you probably expected, there's going to be no issues at all scrolling through YouTube. It's just super smooth. Let's jump over to Google News. And also here we can see that, yeah, it is super, super smooth. Jumping into some YouTube content here, get an idea of what that display is going to be bringing you. Again, love that the hole punch cutout is just super small. It's really not intrusive at all with your display viewing experience unless you're out looking for it. And again, with the bezels, it just has such a nice rounded look to it. I'm really liking the look and the viewing experience here on the S21 Plus. But I want you guys to let me know down in the comments what you're thinking overall of the S21 Plus's display. I'm also really enjoying the audio experience so far here on the S21 Plus. Have a listen for yourself. Doing a quick gaming test here with Stardew Valley. This is initially here just a great experience. We're not experiencing any sort of lag or anything. Absolutely loving the Snapdragon 888 processor. For your gaming, this is going to be a great go-to device. First impressions with gaming, I am super impressed here. Flipping back to those cameras we mentioned earlier, this triple lens setup, we have a 12 megapixel wide angle lens. We have a 64 megapixel telephoto lens, which is capable of 3 times hybrid zoom. And we also have a 12 megapixel ultra wide lens. All right, so we have our standard photo mode. We have a couple of zoom options here by default. We have our standard lens here, we have our wide angle, and then we also have a 3 times zoom. We also have some other options down here, like 4 times. This is a digital zoom at this point. And then we have the 10 times zoom. And honestly, I just did this yesterday on the S21 Ultra, which has an optical zoom. This is a digital zoom, but it still honestly looks really good. I'm super impressed with the detail here that we're getting on Charizard. So honestly, for point and shoot purposes, this is going to be excellent and plenty sufficient for you. You don't necessarily need that Ultra model to get the best photo and video experience. Jumping into our video mode here, once again, we have our wide angle, have our standard, and then we have that 3 times. Let's take a peek at the 10 times again. I think it looks pretty good. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And this goes up to 12 times zoom. Jumping into more, we have all the features you would ever want. We have AR Doodle, Pro Mode, Panorama Mode, Food, Night Mode, Portrait Video, Pro Video, Super Slow-Mo, Slow Motion, Hyperlapse, and Director's View, which I just actually found out about this yesterday. You're able to look in real time at all of your different recording options. If you're needing to film something all at once without any cuts or breaks or zoom transitions, then you're just able to do that super easily. Like I had a good shot of Charizard there on the right, so I just quickly switch over to him. All right, so my final first impressions of the Galaxy S21 Plus, I am super impressed with this phone. I know it is on the pricier side at $1,000, but again, they brought down the price $200 from that previous generation Galaxy S20 Plus. It was an excellent phone. It was just, I think, way overpriced at $1,200. So I think Samsung really made the right move here overall from a business standpoint, from a consumer standpoint, to bring that price down to $1,000. And yes, compromises had to be made. There's no micro SD card slot. The screen is slightly smaller. We have a lower resolution display. Instead of 1440p, it's 1080p. There's just some things missing here, but I think there's also some positives here to outweigh those negatives. So overall, I can personally recommend this phone. Yes, $1,000, it's a big investment, but I think you're going to get your money's worth with this guy just because it's an overall really solid phone. For some reason online, it seems that this phone is not as popular as the S21 Ultra and the smaller S21, but I think this is the perfect middle ground between those two in terms of sizing, of course, and also the price, just bringing together all the factors considered, just the really nice build quality here, having the glass back and the matte finish, guys. It feels so good. I said it yesterday, but this is my new favorite feeling of a matte glass on the back of a phone. I'm really liking the new overall look and aesthetic. Just this is super like minimal and clean. And that's honestly how I like my tech to look. Personally, I'm not trying to draw a bunch of attention. I'm not trying to show off. It's just a super sleek, minimal, discreet, black design. And I just absolutely love it for that. So it's just bringing a lot of good things, in my opinion, all into one package. You're just getting the super smooth software. You're getting the great 120 hertz refresh rate. You're getting the Snapdragon 888 or the Exynos 2100, depending on where you live. You're getting that flat display, so you have no accidental touches. It's going to be your perfect, just standard smartphone experience here. But that's going to be it for this video. I'm really curious to hear your thoughts on the Galaxy S21 Plus in the comments below, so I'll see you guys down there. And if you enjoyed this video, then be sure to give it a thumbs up. And please do consider subscribing to the Shane Symonds YouTube channel today, as my analytics show that only about 3.6% of you are subscribed. And there's a lot of content coming to the channel, so make sure you're subscribed. And I hope to see you guys around for the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.